Good morning. So, today we're going to talk about a new topic. And before I was struggling to put the light because it's basically raining outside as usual. It's very cloudy, it's very dark, and I didn't know how to put the light and in order for you to see me very well, but it's fine. So, what is the topic is about? It's about communication. I already write this in my previous journal and but I wanted to make a video about it. I record a video about it just to have another topic to talk about. So, why communication is important, or why we should communicate more? Okay. So basically, communication is we are people who need we are made to socialize, right? To exchange information with others, because how we should understand each other if we don't exchange information with others. So by doing that, to exchange informations, we need to communicate with others. But the point is, I think you also will notice that um other people, I mean, in our parents' era or century or stuff, people used to communicate in different ways. So, telephone or by writing letters, because there's no social media or there's no smartphone back then. So, it was very hard to communicate, okay? But now it's even more easy to communicate. But the point is, now that we have like social media, we have like phones, we have chats, we have everything, messaging apps. It's becoming, yeah, it's very easy to communicate, but not to the point to communicate. I mean, we it's easy to communicate superficial things. Okay, it's very easy, but not to the point to communicate the important things of of your life. For example, when you have a family, okay, when you have your mom and dad, and you are a daughter, just like me, or a son, okay, and you are like having problems, and sometimes you struggle to open up with your parents. Why? I think I talked about it in my previous video, which is the fact that how we were raised in our past. When we were children, we were raised in a very particular different ways by other parents. So maybe our parents learned to also don't communicate. So when your parents learn it by her childhood life, child when they were kids, to also shut up because their parents will never listen to them. Their parents will never open up to them, or whenever they try to express their feelings, and whenever they try to express their problem, their parents will always overreact. So what happens is the children learn that he shouldn't communicate or she shouldn't tell what she feels. So the point is, even though we have, I think, even though it's easy to communicate, it's easy. We have that messaging app. It's easy to call someone, right? Even though it's easy, we have all the things we need to communicate. It's becoming very difficult, especially in these cases where you need to exchange a personal problem. It's becoming very hard. So I think it depends on how you also were raised by your parents. Okay, there are families who for them is very important communicating. There are families who for them it's easy, like for them like imagine a mom and her child always telling her, hey, update me in this case, how are you okay, are you fine? So there are parents who were raised in a very good way, so they grow up, they become good parents. They also teach their daughter or their children to communicate, to open up. Okay, and and this is also becoming very difficult for others. So if for other families it's very easy, for others it's very hard. So when you grow up in like an environment which is very hard for you to communicate, maybe because your parents did not teach you to communicate in a very good way. I mean, to express your feelings, to tell them your problems, maybe because they keep rejecting your needs or your emotional needs, it's becoming very hard for you. So I think I saw people um, who, I mean, I have many friends. Okay, I have friends that for them, I know, because my friends, I know my friends, but I also know their families, right? I have a friend who, for them, it's very easy to communicate. For like they tell each other, they tell each other their problems. So it's becoming a continuously exchange between parents and children. So between parents and children, there is like a bond, an exchange of information between them, and it's very easy because uh every day they keep updating themselves. Every day their parents keep knowing what's going on in in their son's life. Okay, even if, yeah, because this friend is like 27. Okay, I have a friend who is 27, but um his yeah, his parents, I mean, always know everything about him because he keeps updating his parents, right? And I have another friend which is same age, maybe around 25, and she basically have a lot of problems, but it's becoming very hard for her to open up with her parents and siblings. So so I learned that, okay, just by observing these two things, two different families. Okay, there's a families who learned in their childhood to that communication is very hard, and for them it's very hard to even teach their children to communicate. But I think maybe because it also a problem about language boundaries. Okay, the language barrier, especially when you grow up in a country which is, for example, I'm a Filipina, but I live in Italy and I grow up in Italy. So my language, my mother language becomes Italian. But the point is, my parents talk another language, which is Filipino. So the point is, the exchange of information between parents and daughter also becomes difficult. Not only the language barrier, but the way of how their parents teach them to communicate. So it's becoming very hard for this friend of mine to communicate with her family and siblings because maybe she's not used to do that, or maybe um, their parents don't know how to teach them to communicate or express their problems and express their feelings. On the other hand, we have a family which is, they basically know everything about your life. They basically know everything about my friend's life, like every part of his life. They know it, not because he always need to tell them about his life, but because for them it's something very natural, something very easy to do. Like, so it depends. And even if we have those different things, different point of view. Okay, because we have the family who's used to communicate a lot, and the other family who doesn't communicate at all. And this really made me think of something, that communication is still very important, because you avoid misunderstanding. And and when we communicate with others, we also let them know about our problems, and we don't need to keep our problems inside us. Okay, some, yeah, I have this friend that really, she is having a lot of problems, and for her it's becoming so hard. I mean, all the problems that she is basically keeping her all inside, and she don't know how to express them. It's very difficult, because um she don't know how to tell them with her parents, or with her with her siblings. And this becomes a big problem, because when you don't know how to tell your problems to someone, what what I mean, it will be hard for you also, because you need to take everything all inside, and you're gonna suffer, because when we have a lot of problems, you it will be hard for you to open up, and keeping all everything inside you will be very heavy to keep. Okay, will be very also overwhelming for you, because you will feel like you have a lot of problems and you don't have anyone to talk about it. And that's why learning to communicate, at least just by doing a simple thing, maybe trying to express a feeling to someone without also mm, thinking of being judged, because maybe people, for them it's hard to communicate, maybe because for them, or are they gonna be judged, or they will fear their parents reaction about it, or their family's reaction, or they just not really are not used to do it. But it's not impossible, because I also learned that communication is a must. And I also had a family where for us it was very, very hard communicating. It was very hard to open up and stuff. But by time, we also learned to do that. So I think it's not a very um, impossible thing to do, to open up and communicate to someone. And we will also have a benefit when we communicate. We understand each other. We understand each other. We build a relationship with our parents, with our friends, with our siblings. So when the more we communicate with our family, with friends and siblings and our parents, the more we become close, because they know everything about you. They know everything, even your problems. So your good and bad times. They know your struggles. When you open up to them, they will also carry your problems, and for you it will also be easy to carry your problems, right? Because you have someone to help you, so you feel like you are being helped and stuff. So the benefit of communication is very good. So when we communicate, we become close to them. We we feel safe, because we have someone who we can rely on when we will have a hard time. And also we will be close to them. But the negative side of not being able to communicate is sometimes someone will feel very lonely, like very, very lonely, because they don't have anyone to express their feelings, they don't have anyone to open up. Or maybe they do, but just because they don't, they will feel like they have their own world, and they don't know, they don't have anyone who will understand them, because for them ever since before, they never communicated, or they never expressed their feelings or their problems to their siblings or their family. So so basically, if in the beginning, if you don't have communication between your family, it will be also very hard for you to communicate with your friends, because everything starts in your house. So all the things that you do in your house will be, when you're used to do something in your house, you will also do that outside your house, right? So if you don't communicate inside your house, in your house with your family, you will also don't communicate with your friends. So if you don't communicate with your sibling or anyone, it will be hard for you to open up with someone else. But I think it's very different. I mean, there are other families who, for them, it's very hard to communicate between, I mean, in their house, but they have someone, which is a friend, who knows everything. But the point is, when there will be a day when you get in trouble and your family doesn't really know about it. It's very bad. So how we can learn to communicate? I think a way to do it is to be conscious that if we communicate, if we express something, to don't think that we are gonna be judged by them, because our tendency is, um maybe if we express something, we fear that they are gonna judge us. So we also need to find the right person. But I think this also depends on the families, because there are families, or there are people who you are not close to. Especially, there are people who, okay, you have your own parents, but you're not close to your parents, because maybe your parents, they are very close. I mean, they set boundaries between you. So it depends. I think it depends on the situation of everyone, and yeah, on each family, on each people. But what helped me is, some one day somewhere, I will also need someone who will tell my problems. So, or it will be my sibling, my sister, or my parents, because one day they will, I mean, they're your family, so they are the closest person that you have in your life. So they should know about your life as well. And I know that it's very hard, especially when you grow up in a different environment, and when you grow up where you're not used to communicate. But I think it's not impossible. It's something that we can still learn right now. It's something that we are able to improve with, and that's it. I mean, I think this video is gonna turn very bad, because, to be honest, I'm just talking to you in a random way, telling you all my thoughts about the communication. But I don't know if this really will help you, but I wish it would. But if this video is gonna get boring, then you are free to just skip and stuff. But I just want to express you my thoughts about communication. So, and why it's very important, and how this can help you, to don't isolate yourself. Because when you isolate yourself, when you don't communicate, you also isolate yourself verbally. You When you isolate yourself, it will be bad for you, because you are building your own world outside other people. And when you are building that, you kind of isolate yourself, because there's no communication, and there's no interaction with others. Plus, when you are not, when you're not staying with others to socialize, you are sort of creating your own boundaries, your own walls. And this is becoming a very, very bad thing, or this will become a very big problem, because when you isolate yourself, you will not receive the help of others. When you isolate yourself, you will not benefit from it. So that's why if we communicate with others, we kind of create a way to socialize, but also to build something. It becomes a benefit for you as well. So don't isolate yourself. And if you're someone who is very hard to communicate, maybe because you was born or your parents really raised you in a bad way, and maybe you're not used to because you have language boundaries, just like my friend, or you speak different language, and your parents just speak a language that is not, I mean, like it's preventing you to communicate. Well, it's not your fault, but also we can do something to improve in this aspect. And I'm not telling this for everyone to do, because to be honest, I'm just sharing you an information that I've seen others, and why communicating can help them. I'm not like, I don't want to be like, that's someone who is giving you advice for everything to be a good person and stuff. I just want to share this because I'm expressing you my point of view, and how this will also help me with my parents, with, and how this can help others as well. Because when I observe my friends or other people, i I sort of understand what is the good thing to do. But it's up to you. But yeah, this is basically what I think about communication and why it's very important. And I know that I did it in a very messy way because, to be honest, I I don't have any script about it, and I'm just really just talking and chatting or yapping to you in a messy way, because this video is very messy. So I think that's all. If you have any question or anything, or if you want to tell me new topics to talk about, just leave a comment. And if you appreciate this video, just leave a comment and likes or anything. And this is for today. And see ya. Bye bye.